What's going on? Judd here with Asphalt Kingdom. We're right here at Pavex in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm here with my good bud, Cam Roberts.
Fellow Canadian.
Fellow Canuck. Fellow Canuck.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. Laser Pavement Solutions.
Yeah.
Stripe It.
Yep.
Some coaching. My goodness, lots to unpack there. So
I like to be busy.
yeah,
I like to be busy.
you do. And your podcast is rocking, but take us back.
Yeah.
Take us back. You know, some people
How
haven't
far-
seen our previous jam session that we did 2
Yeah.
years ago in Charlotte.
In Charlotte, yeah.
And so you get to see this one. And by the way, the link to the other one's down below.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's roll.
So in one hand, it's more of the same, right? Like nothing revolutionary has happened. I think, this company's at the stage where we're just putting in the work right now, still growing. Team's doing well. We're right in the thick of snow. We're big into snow removal. I realize, not everyone can have that service, but for us, it's been great. And man, we just have fun. Like, we're having fun.
Culture?
Awesome.
Awesome.
Like that's like my job, right? I'm like the culture guy now. I don't have to worry about operations. I'm still doing some stuff in sales, but I just make sure the team we're moving forward. Yeah.
So as you're building laser, right? Take us back how many years?
2018 is when it started. I was in the minivan in 2018. Yeah. That's how it started.
What kind of minivan?
My wife's minivan. That's all that mattered. Yeah, I would show up to striping jobs with like a little trailer in my wife's minivan, which was all fun and games until I spilled paint in the minivan. And then apparently your spouse doesn't like that. So since then we've gotten rid of minivans. We've upgraded to trucks. Yeah. So that's how it started, man. And
But like minivan, where did it come from?
so like we had 2 kids. I was full-time job, nothing crazy, and I was off work for a bit. And I knew about striping. I knew about AK. And basically I decided I was off work for a month, and I was like, I can't sit around. I hate sitting around. So bought a striper, started going. Quit my job the next year, and then it's been growing ever since.
Building your business from literally a one-man operation to
One man in a van.
one man in a van.
Yeah. Now I think there's 18 of us at the moment.
18.
Yeah.
And so full service striping.
Yeah, so we're still known a lot for striping. That's kind of how I started, right? But we rebranded the company from Laser Line Painting to Laser Pavement Solutions. So much more holistic pavement now. We don't self-perform paving, but we're involved in paving projects now. So yeah, it's been like, the services have been like an incremental growth. We focused a lot on striping still, and snow removal has been a huge thing for us. So,
I often see a lot of people, like there's a recent post by James Tartaglia in Facebook, where he started with a Powerliner 850, like a striping machine.
That's perfect.
And he has like a large striping truck now that's a $300,000 striping truck that he's doing highways with. And it's like, striping to me is almost like a gateway or a portal to growing into the pavement asset management world.
100%. So yeah, this. Like you build up your customer list. Like you're not doing residential work, so you build up this awesome list of commercial customers. If you nurture those relationships, eventually, what I found in my market, and I'm sure it's the same everywhere, your customers end up asking you, can you do this stuff as well? Because you build that good relationship, right? So I think the key is not to grow too fast and try and do everything at once, but man, get into patching, get into crack sealing. Like those are perfect things. You already got the customers. That's the biggest hurdle. Yeah,
for sure.
Go solve other problems.
What do you think was the turning point for you when you went from one man in a van to actually saying, I'd like to really grow and scale this? Was there a particular pivotal moment for you?
Simple, 100%, mentorship. Yeah, so I knew what I wanted, right? Like, when the business started to grow organically, more customers, and people are like, hey, this is great. We needed another company here. Acquiring customers in the early days wasn't too hard. You just had to put in the time, right? Pound doors, meet, shake hands. But like what really made me go for it, so to speak, and why there's 18 of us now and soon to be more, is 100% mentorship. Like working with like-minded people, specifically who have done the thing that I'm trying to do. That changes the game. It takes all the pain and agony. Well, not all the pain and agony.
No,
it takes some of the pain and agony away. Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of people, and you might be one of these on the other end of this camera right now, but like, there's a lot of people who are scared about mentorship. They fear mentorship. They're in a spot where they're knowing that they want something more or desire something more than what they have, but they are kind of just feeling like I need to be in this spot to be safe because I've built what I've built so far, and I'm scared to ruin what I've ruined, or I've built rather.
That's right.
And then it's like, now I got to invest money into, well, it might not be seen as an investment, right?
Exactly.
They might see it as an expense.
Exactly.
And
100%.
So tell us about like your perspective on that. Mentorship.
Man, like the first person that I was mentored by, like if you look at it on paper, like it's kind of it's a bit of a leap of faith. Like you're investing money, right? It's not an expense. It feels like an expense. It's a bit of a leap of faith to do that. But if you have the desire to grow the business, right, you could try and figure it out on your own. But why not find like either a person or a group that is doing the thing that you're trying to do, and it really does reduce so much of that growth friction, because if you have someone or a group of people that you can lean on, like your stress level goes down for one thing. Absolutely. But yeah, it's and for me, you know, being in Canada, I think you'll appreciate this. It's kind of geographically far.
Sure.
So sometimes it feels pretty isolating. You're trying to grow a business, and I'm kind of the black sheep in the family. Like everyone else is more stable employment. I'm kind of the weirdo. So like to have people that validate that, hey, what you're trying to do is A, okay, and B, we can support it. You need it. Don't try and do it on your own.
I often say that, like the analogy is, you know, you can be in the fog trying to navigate like legitimately on your own, but you don't need to do that anymore. And it's not geographically restricted anymore with the internet and communities, online communities. There's all kinds of different communities that people can connect with.
Can I say one other thing?
Yeah,
I was just talking to, so this is why I love shows, and get to see people, right? Sure. I was just talking to a guy, really good business, like doing really well, lots of striping, lots of patching. He's also in Canada, and he told me he's reluctant to find a community because he feels like he's an imposter, right? Like I'm not ready to get in that group, whatever that group looks like, and that's kind of the wrong approach in my opinion. Like those are the things that will get you on the path you're trying to go. If you're trying to do that yourself, you're always going to feel like you're not ready, right? Like, so find a good group, find a good community, find a good mentor or person who can help you with that. You don't have to do it on your own.
It's so important. And I think the only way to really know whether or not whether it's the right community or not is by having conversations and starting to feel the energy between the community, what that culture is like, and does that culture match you, right? And the core values of that particular community matched with what you stand for.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure, like I've been fortunate. I haven't been associated with a group where it was bad, but I've also been very cautious. Like I'm a skeptical guy by nature, right? I want to make sure it's good. Yeah, consume the content, see if it lines up with what you're trying to do, and if it does, go for it.
Got it. That's a huge piece of advice right there. A lot of people, again, will navigate on their own and get lost. Chance of failure is quite high.
Yeah. I'm not smart enough to do it on my own, dude. I want people to help me, you know? I just make life easy.
So we say over and over and over again at AK, what we're always saying is, you know, have the processes and systems that are in place for the people to connect with, right? And build a business that's no longer one that is kind of shooting from the hip and trying to figure out how to crank it, right?
Bingo.
So you want a machine.
Do I want a machine?
You want a machine business, right? But yeah,
I feel like you're selling me a machine right now.
Airbus 750 right now.
This is how good he is. I'm going to buy a machine right now.
Yeah, on camera, no pressure.
Yeah, no, you build it into a machine. Absolutely.
Right, absolutely. And that's sellable too one day.
Probably. Yep.
You know?
Yeah, it feels like a faraway thing for me. That's not what I'm focused on right now, but absolutely, you can build that into a well-oiled machine, and who knows?
So for laser, next 12 months.
Next 12 months for us, a lot more expansion into seal coating, actually, which is kind of funny because I know a lot of companies that are here, right, start with that service. We're in a weird place in a weird part of the world where it's not very common. So what we're working on a lot now is education for our clients, like this is going to help you in your property. So it's a little bit of work to educate on that front. That's a big thing we're doing. Even the size of our striping jobs, we're working on like large facilities now, kind of all over the province of BC. So more of the same. And the biggest thing, we're looking for great people. Like I'm ruthlessly looking for like people who align with our values, who just need an opportunity. They don't even need to know anything about pavement. Like I'm on a mission, man. I want great people.
Great people.
Yep.
Grow the revenue.
Yep.
Increase profits.
That's it.
Build a machine. Cool.
And watch people in the company succeed. Yeah.
Podcast.
Yep.
Stripe it.
100 episodes now, man.
100 episodes,
just
right?
crazy.
Cool.
Yeah. It's probably the most fun I have every week is recording that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
100 episodes.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, man. So tell us about it, man.
Yeah, it's it's a lot of fun. I started it in 2021. I was basically poked by my business coach. He said, "Look, no one has a striping podcast. Might as well start one." And I didn't want to, right? Because I was only 3 years into the business at that point. It felt like, that was my imposter syndrome thing. But I did it anyways, and
That's awesome.
There was a warm reception, man. Yeah, it was really good, and it's connected me to some unbelievable people, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
How awesome is it that you just said that about the imposter syndrome?
Yeah. Oh, I felt it. Oh, in 2020, man.
Because you only
Absolutely.
had 2 years under your belt?
Bingo. Yeah, it was like 2-3 years. And
Like, how could I start a podcast and teach people and help people
There's-
understand more about striping if I only did this for 2 years and there's guys out there that have been doing it for 40 years?
Bingo. Yeah. And truthfully, there were some people who were 30, 40 years who had like some negative things to say. Nothing crazy, but like it doesn't matter. If you're trying to, support an industry, even if you're new to it, I say go for it. So there's people here that have just been started and they put out more content than I do. Like, I think that's fantastic. Go for it.
And so what do you cover in your Stripe It podcast?
Yeah, so the podcast started with just talking about line striping, like as exciting as that is.
Yeah.
But over time, it's kind of grown now. Now we talk a lot about business development. So I'm bringing on guests. Typically, it's a guest, right? Whether it's someone in this industry specifically or someone who's very successful in sales, and just trying to like give business development information to people trying to grow. It's a lot of fun. I learn things along the way. So that's my secret sauce is when I'm interviewing somebody, I'm trying to learn from them, right? And I don't doubt that's going to hopefully help someone else who's listening. So,
And a link to the podcast is actually down below in the description as well.
appreciate it.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank
You're
you.
welcome. Cool. So Cam, tell us about year one of your business. What was the worst mistake that you made in year one?
Ooh, worst mistake in year one. Thankfully, it was nothing critical. Like nobody got hurt. It wasn't that bad. But I would say looking back on it, I didn't keep track of the numbers very well because new business owner, right? Not a lot of experience. No, I didn't really understand the value of it. If I could go back, I definitely can say I could have made a lot more profit by analyzing my costs better, how much I was quoting. So like, that's not a terrible mistake. It's not the end of the world, but in that first year, I left a lot of money on the table and, good for the customers, but should have kept track of that data a little bit better.
Right. So understanding the numbers. And
Yeah, absolutely.
did you understand how profitable you were?
I knew I knew the company was making money, but when
Because there's
you're
money in
just
the bank?
starting, yeah, there's money. Exactly. You watch the checking account go up, and I didn't have a lot of expenses. I was using a minivan, Judd. Like it's pretty good.
One man in a van.
One man in the van. But yeah, looking back, like I did reverse engineer it once. Like even if I had charged like 20% more, I probably would have closed this exact same amount of jobs. And even if I didn't, I would have made the same amount of money with less work. So, but when you're starting out, like I don't know, that's the worst mistake. Don't beat myself up too much about it. So.
Got it. And then your very first hire that you brought on.
Oh yeah.
Tell us about the very first hire and would it be different today if you were starting over?
Oh man. So funny enough, like I care so much now in my company, like about recruiting, hiring, culture. Like those are the things that move the needle for me. But hiring my first person, I was legit terrified. Like I delayed it for as long as possible,
Right.
because it's just you feel like you have to like support this person for 40 hours a week. What happens if I don't get enough work? I was that guy.
The what ifs. Oh my goodness. The what ifs.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is probably a bigger regret than year one because I waited way too long to bring in people to help. So if I could go back, that would be the thing. I would have hired someone way faster because at any moment there's someone in your city, in your market, who would love nothing more than to have a job that is flexible, like sealing and striping. Usually you can be pretty flexible with hours. There's someone who's out there who would love to come work with you. So I'd probably hire the same position, just would have done it way faster.
It's interesting, right? You say that now that you've been, you're convicted. You believe.
Yeah.
You believe with the utmost conviction. And it's like that to me is something really, really special.
Yeah.
Because now you look back and say, I would have hired somebody sooner because of the level of conviction that you have.
100%.
Back then, you're kind of wondering, am I going to make enough money? All the what ifs, all these other, and that's why, again, community is so important because you're able to actually get feedback from people who've been there and done that. And now what would you advise someone that was, let's say, in that year one of growth and they're on the edge about hiring someone? What would be your advice to that?
Yeah, like obviously you got to be smart about it, right? You can't be reckless. Like you need to like remove your emotion from your business and look at it analytically. Like, can I support a person? But chances are you probably can. And what's the African proverb? Like you go faster alone, farther together.
Yeah.
I think that even in small business, I think that applies. Like, don't wait until your company is ready to break, which is what I was doing in 2020,
Right.
to like get people on board to come help you.
Right.
So I would do that
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. How many more episodes are you going to load into Stripe It?
7,000. That's the goal. I don't know.
7,000?
No, we're just gonna keep going. It's an infinite game to me. Like,
Right.
I love learning. You know, I love.
Does it put a spotlight on you?
Has it?
Yeah.
I don't look at it that way. I think, you know, if anything, I think it's put a spotlight for me to see other things, meet other people. That being said, I think like if somebody's listening and wants to start a podcast, you probably should. Like, it's this one of those scary things. You're like, how am I going to do this? Like $30 mic from Amazon and hit record. That's literally how you do it.
How long are they?
If we bring a guest on, I keep it short, 30, 45 minutes. Yeah, we've done some longer ones if we're really jamming, but I like to keep it pretty short. And yeah, I love getting to know people. Man, there's a wealth of knowledge out there. So,
Where do you see the industry going in the next year?
where do I see the industry? Truthfully,
Like, 'cause there's some
I s-
robotics and stuff going on, right? Like,
Oh,
there's
yeah,
AI and
yeah.
all this stuff. Like, where do you see the
don't
industry?
don't be scared of that stuff, man. Don't, like, you got to embrace that stuff. Yeah, I definitely see a lot more automation, a lot more technology. I noticed even here at this show, a lot more technology vendors. I think that's great. So one of our core values is actually innovation in our company. So we're always looking for ways not to eliminate jobs, but just to make processes easier for our people. And man, if we can leverage technology, like if you can leverage technology, truthfully, you'll crush your competition because you're going to move way faster. So I see the industry kind of going that way. It's easier now than ever. More than ever to find, you know, reliable, good technology to help you. So I think that's what people should probably focus on.
What was the pivot point for you and your company?
One pivot point. I feel like there's been many, but you know, we were just talking about people. You know, I would say you need great people to grow your pavement business, right? And when you first start out, like, it's going to be a struggle to find people, and you know, it's a bit of a mental block. The the funny story I have is like the first time I had two people go to a job site that weren't named Cam Roberts, like they just went, I literally cried. I'm serious, and I have no problem saying it, because like to that point I'd grown the company with me doing everything, and that was the first time I saw people go out and do the thing. And so like my identity was tied on to the striper. So at the time it was brutally hard because you feel like I need to be out there with my people, I need to be with the team. Sometimes you do, like, you don't want to abdicate that completely, but I think to really grow your business, yeah, you need to put people in positions to succeed, and sometimes that means you not being there. And truthfully now, like, if I'm on a job site now, I'm there, I'm hooping it up, I'm making sure the guys are happy, like we have a good time, but like they don't want me there.
Right.
Like, they know what they're doing, we have people in place, we got systems, they just want to do their thing.
Leave us alone, boss.
Exactly, they don't want me watching. Yeah. It's terrible.
Must be really rewarding, man. Like, for you to know what you've built and what you continue to build, it must feel good. Do you take the time out to really be proud and grateful for your journey?
Yes, yeah. Like every single person that works at Laser Pavement now, like, what a blessing, man. Because these people are not obligated to work for me. Like, they're just not. They could go anywhere. They could do anything. So it's a tremendous honor. And one of the things that we, like, our passion in our company is improving communities. Every job we do is designed to improve the community. But the second part of that is we want to give our people the absolute maximum potential for personal development, professional development, and earning potential too. So we've been able to have some people with us for quite some time that, truthfully, they just needed a shot somewhere. And those people I love those people. It's a real privilege.
Cool to change lives.
It's awesome.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Thanks for being on the Freestyle Jam with us, man.
My
I really
pleasure,
appreciate
dude.
it.
Always good to see you.
Good
Thanks.
to see you too. And if anyone wants to connect with you, where can they connect with you?
Everywhere. Just Google me. Like, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever. I'm everywhere. And I still to this day, like, it's hard. I got to be careful with time. But if people reach out, I will always give them the time. 100%.
It's awesome. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, click that subscribe button, the like button, and the links are down there below to click through to Mr. Cam, who will have his podcast episodes right in front of you in no time.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, bro.
Appreciate you.